Hi everyone, it's Nicole here today for Spellbinders with some Truck die cut cards featuring the Spellbinders Large Die of the Month for October 2018. This is an absolutely amazing die set. There are so many dies and I only created 3 cards, but really there's some gift packages, there's flowers. You could create lots and lots of different cards. So here's what you get. Look at all these amazing dies. And then you can build these adorable trucks. I did my die cutting off camera to save time, since to create 3 cards it was quite a lot of die cutting and there are so many pieces. But if you are a huge die cutting fan like I am, you are going to absolutely love this. We're going to create a kind of beachy travel themed card, a holiday themed card, and a fall themed card using this. I'm also going to be incorporating the October card kit from Spellbinders with these beautiful pattern papers I'm going to use for my backgrounds. There's a foil cardstock in that kit that I'm going to be using for the fall themed card. So just a few little pieces from another kit exclusive to Spellbinders, and how well that you can mix and match. What I love is, let's start with the beach themed card first and look at this pattern paper. To me, this really screamed beach, and it very much influenced my choices with the colors I picked for the truck, the surfboard, the beach ball, and then kind of how I designed the card and put it together. I decided to create kind of a strip down the middle of the card with my pattern paper. Then we're going to kind of frame it up with a glitter or a foil kind of paper to dress up the edges. I generally like to kind of frame it up when I create a card like this. But this skinnies up kind of our scene, if you will, and gives us a strip down the center of the card. So I've got some white top fold card bases. I've trimmed this pattern paper strip to 3.5 by 5.5 inches. This is a little big. I'm going to trim this down another 1/4 inch. So the main pattern paper is 3.5 by 5.5 inches. And then the paper we use to frame it up is going to measure 3 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches. And that's kind of just my little rule of thumb for doing this. You can see before I trimmed it down a little bit further, I checked with my die cuts to see, do I have a little wiggle room? Do I have some space? Is there going to be enough to trim off a little bit more if I want to do that? Because at this point I thought, I'm not really going to be able to have much white space on either side if I leave it as wide as it is here, or I'm not going to have the room to frame it up with the glitter or the foil cardstock. So there I just trimmed off that little 1/4 inch strip. Now these pattern papers are pretty thin, so it's not going to add a ton of bulk. I do want to mention I am stamping and embossing my greetings on all of these pattern papers. This thin of paper tends to warp a little bit when you introduce heat to it. So in order to combat that, so that I didn't have warped paper, I made sure my heat tool was really hot before I take it to my pattern paper and before I emboss any of the greetings I'm using for my card. I started these projects by grabbing up sentiment stamp sets, playing with them, moving them around, mixing and matching where it was applicable, just to figure it all out. So I had a game plan for each and every one of my cards before I actually started. Now this card I'm going to do kind of start to finish, put it together, and I'll put another one together on screen, or at least parts of it. But the last one I didn't even put it together on camera because it's really the same thing. I've just changed up my sentiments. So I will talk about that as I'm working through the cards, and I will share with you what stamps I'm using. At any time, if you are curious about what product I'm using, it will be linked below in the supplies. below this video here on YouTube, and it's also listed on my blog post, which you can reach my blog by clicking the link underneath here, underneath the video here on YouTube. So lots of places to find that information. I do link to everything. These are club kit dies, meaning you subscribe to the club to get the dies every month. There is the large die of the month that I'm using here. There's a small die of the month. There is a large and small, meaning you get both every month. There's the card kit of the month. So there's lots of different choices there. Definitely check them all out. I think these large and small die of the months are just like my favorite. I think they get better and better every month. They are absolutely amazing. For most of my cards, I mixed embossing powders. So my large scripty greeting, I stamped with clear embossing ink and embossed with white embossing powder. Then the smaller phrase right under that, and then the small phrase at the bottom, I'm going to stamp with clear embossing ink and heat emboss with gold embossing powder. Again, for my first card, when I first put this together, I used the truck a lot as a guide to help me know exactly where to put my greetings so that I left enough room for my die cuts. Because I'm putting this together after I've done my stamping, it's really important that I leave enough room for those dies. So here's what that looks like. And I'm going to start putting it together. I did put adhesive on the back of this, kind of forgetting that I need to tuck my beach ball and surfboard into the bed of the truck. So that kind of didn't work so great. And I will remember that when I go to do the holiday and the autumn themed cards. So I'm just going to lift it up a little bit, and we're going to start with the surfboard and tuck that in. I also die cut the window of the truck from vellum, and then I ran that through the Xyron sticker maker and stuck that to my card to give the window a little bit of that frosted glass look, I guess. Just it helped with the overall feel of the truck, in my opinion. By running it through the Xyron sticker maker, it puts adhesive all over the back of it, and you don't have to worry about hiding adhesive. Then I am tucking my beach ball and my surfboard into the bed of the truck, and I'm going to start inlaying all the little pieces for the beach ball and the surfboard. I'm using a little Ranger Multi-Matte Medium to put all of these little pieces in place. I'm using a jewel picker tool to put them in place, my tool-in-one from Spellbinders to put them in place, whatever I can use to get all those little pieces down. Now, I love that there's the side mirrors for the truck. I think that that is just darling and cute. I did die cut those from a silver foil cardstock. Also, these little inlay pieces in the truck, die cut from silver foil cardstock, the bumper die cut from silver foil cardstock, the wheels from black cardstock. We're going to tuck those in first, and then we'll put the bumper in place. And then the little magic of each of these truck images, they're super cute on their own. No doubt about it. They are absolutely darling. But you can customize then that tailgate on each of the trucks with the sentiment. So there is a rectangle, a solid rectangle, and then you can use the rectangle and then the word together to die cut the sentiment. And there is hooray, thanks, and for you. We used hooray for the travel themed card. There's the tail lights. I die cut those from a gold foil cardstock. And then we're going to just map this on a glitter cardstock. In fact, this glitter cardstock, I believe, is from the Hero Arts October kit of the month. I thought that the kind of greenish blue of this, or the aqua of this, matched my colors in this card perfectly. So that's what I used for this. And then I'm going to pop that onto my white card base. It did overhang just a little bit, so I'm trimming off anything there. My greetings, I did say I'd mention where those are from. These are the Simon Says Stamp Vacation Time greetings. That's where all of the greetings for this card came from. The final thing we're going to do for this card is add glossy accents to the beach ball. I'm going to set this aside to completely dry, and let's start working on our Christmas themed card. So you can see how versatile this is. Maybe use the gift packages with this if you wanted to, or use the gift packages with the truck for birthday themed cards. You could make summer and spring themed cards with the flowers. It's just incredible. I love that this is versatile. I think this is just a brilliant die set. I love, love, love it. Greetings for the holiday card. These are from the Simon Says Stamp Peace on Earth stamp set. This is a few years old, but I still absolutely love it. Season's greetings stamped in white. The rest of the small phrase stamped and embossed in gold. I should have said embossed in white, and this was embossed in gold. And then we're going to put the truck together. Now, I smartened up a little bit here. I need to put my tree together first, tuck that into the bed of the truck, and then I'm going to put the truck onto my card base. So I'm building the tree. There's the tree stem. There's all of the little branches for the tree. There's even some additional little branches. I did not use those for my card, but you totally could. And another little tip is I put together my tree, put an acrylic block on top, and then let that sit for a minute, because I originally tried to tuck it into the bed of my truck, and branches kept falling off, and I was a little frustrated. So I actually put the glue back on here, set this aside, put an acrylic block on top to hold it flat, and did a couple other things, and then I will come back to that. So I've tucked my tree in. Let's put some adhesive on the back of this and go ahead and pop this in place onto my card. I loved this pattern paper from the October card kit from Spellbinders because I thought it looked kind of like a snowy sky. I was really aware of the colors I picked from my pattern paper when I put this together. Like the first pattern paper looks really beachy to me and kind of like you were going to the beach. This looked like driving into a snowstorm. I loved the colors of it. I loved the little splotches all over. If you don't have these pattern papers, you can definitely create your own with watercolors, distress inks, distress oxide inks, all kinds of different things. So keep that in mind as well, and you can maybe recreate the whole thing. Pattern paper just made it a little bit quicker to put these together today. Again, we've got the rear or the side mirrors, the bumper. This time we're using "For You" as the greeting on the tailgate rather than "Hooray." And I'm putting my tail lights in place. These were die cut from the gold foil cardstock as well. We're going to take a quick look at my last card. It was put together much the same. I just did not share putting it together on camera. The greetings for this are from Simon Says Stamp Autumn Greetings. That's the Hello Fall. And then all the rest of the tiny phrases are from the new Tiny Words stamp set. Let's take a final look at all three cards put together. So here's the travel card with that awesome beachy background, cute, cute truck. Just, you guys, I can't say enough great things about this. This is the kind of die cutting I love. Again, with very conscious about color choice. This was a peachy paper from that same pattern paper pack from the October card kit from Spellbinders. And it really sets off the navy truck and the pumpkins, the orange and the white, or orange and kind of vanilla of the pumpkins perfectly. Then, of course, the Christmas paper. Now, one little tip is I did take a white pen and add some little detail to the wheels. I don't know why, but to me, I felt like they needed a little bit of something for the treads on that. I even added some little highlights to the pumpkins, to the surfboard, but I did not go overboard with the pin detail on these cards. I let the dies really tell the story and stand alone and show off the beautiful detail of the Spellbinders dies on their own. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for the set of 3 die cut cards featuring the Spellbinders October 2018 Large Die of the Month Club Kit. The supplies I used to create these cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more cards featuring Spellbinders dies that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.